This is the MC Reggie Fresh Morning Show. A station that pays.
This is MC Reggie Fresh from the MC Reggie Fresh Morning Show. And folks, guess who's in the building? She was born in LaGrange, Georgia. She graduated from Troop High School in LaGrange, Georgia. She attended Alabama State University in Montgomery, Alabama. She majored in communications. She's the owner of BeeTV television. And she's a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome, AKA the news lady, Miss April Ross.
Okay, remember what I told you. You're your own boss. Love yourself. Get up and dance. Level up.
Level up, 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 level up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Level up, 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 level up. All this on me so yummy, all this sauce so yummy. No, you want this yummy, yummy all in your tummy. Level up, 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 level up.
This is the MC Reggie Fresh Morning Show. A station that pays.
Them old mistakes are gone. I won't do them no more. That's old news. That's new news. I done did that before. I turn nothing to something. My comeback on 100.
Welcome to the MC Reggie Fresh Morning Show. How you doing, Miss April?
I am great.
Outstanding.
I am great. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing absolutely wonderful. Especially when I saw your story, I said I gotta get on the show.
Well, thank you for having me. I certainly appreciate it.
Okay, so the first thing I want to ask you though, how does it feel to be the sister of the Vice President, Kamala Harris?
Oh man, it feels great. I mean, doing the Alpha Kappa Alpha sisters are just doing amazing things. All our divine nine, but hey, I'm kind of partial to our AKA sisters.
And that's what I'm talking about. I also know that you are a journalist. Did you go to school to be a journalist?
Yes, I went to school for communications, radio, television, broadcasting.
So now tell me, how did this Honey BeeTV come about?
Well, I tell you, Reggie, it was just kind of, at first, I was going around town doing red carpet events.
Yes, ma'am.
With my company, Honey Productions.
Uh-huh.
And just kind of going to different red carpet events in Atlanta. We did the Real Housewives of Atlanta. We did some premieres when Ricky Smiley did his premiere. And that was really fun.
Wow.
But of course, I was like, I want to start doing interviews and stuff. And I didn't want to do it under my Honey Production brand.
Right.
So the young lady that was working with me, I said, I think I'm going to start doing some sit-down interviews. And she was like, well, and I said, I don't want to use Honey Productions. And she said, well, why don't you take B from Honey, use BeeTV? And I said, you know what? I like that.
I like that. Okay.
Right. So that's how it all formed. But I must tell you, because people ask me often, why Honey? And I said, because me and my husband never call each other by name, ever. We call each other Honey.
Wow.
I never call him Corey. He never calls me April. He just says Honey.
Okay. All right. Wow. Okay, now let me ask you this. So, give me one of your most memorable times as doing this.
Well, I would say recently, and when I first got started, I got started basically, you know, I had the name BeeTV, but I really wasn't doing anything with it. But one day, I was at my office in West Point, Georgia, and this young lady she called me, and we go to church together, and I'm always encouraging her. And Reggie, she's kind of like, you know, she like a girl from the streets, you know. At the time, you know, she was like a hood girl, you know.
Right.
But I loved her, and you know, because she was like different from me. You know, but I would always encourage her and tell her how, you know, things will get better for her and she can do this and she can do that. Well, that particular day, then I found her encouraging me. She said, Miss April, something has happened in our area and somebody need to go and check it out. And I said, oh, well, they got to wait on a reporter to come. And she said, don't you have that degree thing? And I said, yeah. And she said, well, I tell you what you do. You go, you know, Facebook Live. Why don't you go live and tell them you're a reporter? And I said, oh, that's going to look crazy. And then so more and more people started to kind of call her and say all these police were up there, the sheriff was up there from all different agencies, but nobody was there to tell them what happened. So I sprung into action. And then so when I got on the scene, I saw the lead investigator and I said, who's in charge? And he said, me. And he said, who are you with? And I said, I paused and I said, BeeTV. You know, so that's how it was birthed. I just started then with that incident, and then I've just been able to, that kind of catapult me, I would say, to do news. People knew around the area. That is the news lady is what they call me.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Because in our area, we didn't have a breaking news person. We would have to wait on the surrounding areas like Atlanta or Columbus, Georgia, to kind of come in and tell us what's going on. But then they had the news lady.
All right. That's outstanding. That's outstanding, Miss April. Now, let me ask you this. If anybody likes to do this kind of stuff and they want to go to school, you know, even the journalists or whatever they need to do to be in the media, what kind of advice do you have to give them to make them be successful?
Well, I tell you, it has changed so you know that people are now making their own destiny. They are just, you know, creating YouTube channels, social media. But I say the teachings that I received at Alabama State really, I'm really using it.
Right.
So it has helped me a lot.
Right.
So I would say that, you know, go into it knowing that don't do it ever for the money. But do it because you love it. Because when I was running around with this cell phone, calling it a TV station, the money wasn't coming in.
Right.
But
right.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved doing it. I loved keeping people informed. So you just have to stay with it and be authentic. You know, a lot of times I have to show mugshots, but I was being in a little small town. I have to show mugshots of family members, and they don't like that, Reggie.
Well,
and they come after me hard.
Well,
but you know what? I chose I'm going to be 100 with everything that I do.
That's right. That's right. And plus, you know, you also said, I like what you said, everybody has a story to tell.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yes. Everybody has a story to tell. You're absolutely right. And that's what I want to do. I want to share people's story. I want to be an impact on people's lives. If I can be used by the Lord, I want to be used. There was an incident not too long ago, Reggie, that happened here in our area. This older gentleman who's battling stage 4 cancer, he his friend would go by the house and check on him and his wife. But the friend was over there one day when it was raining, Reggie, and the friend didn't say anything, but he began to watch the rain come inside the house. The wife just went and got buckets, and they just kept talking, but he watching them put buckets in the corner, just kept talking to them, so he knew that this was normal for them.
Yeah.
And he was like, they literally it's raining in here. This house is going to fall in. The roof is going to fall in. The friend didn't say anything, but the friend, the next morning, he went and got the mayor of our city.
Wow.
He went and found the mayor and told the mayor, we can't have people living like this. This man is battling stage 4 cancer. The mayor went to this organization, which was Habitat, Chattahoochee Habitat. They had the materials to redo the whole roof, Reggie. But what happened was Miss Kim called me. When she got over there, they had started working on the roof. The man was just so happy. But then he told Miss Kim, he said, I don't know how long I'm going to have.
Wow.
But if you go, I just want you to go look at my kitchen. Kim went and looked in the kitchen, and she saw it was a bigger problem. The floor was literally buckling under her as she walked. She couldn't even walk in it.
That's a
she
shame.
was scared.
Wow.
And Kim called me out of desperation. She knew I had a platform. I was a news lady. I have a following. And Kim said, April, we got to do something. I just don't know what can we do? And I said, I'm on my way over. I went over there, met with him, his wife, and then instantly I knew what we had to do. I had to use my platform for the greater good. And Reggie, I went Facebook Live, and I just basically shared their story, told them that we are better together. We can do this. And Reggie, when our mayor and Kim came over, this was a black gentleman.
Yes, ma'am.
They white. They didn't ask, well, who is he? What his name? Why they living like this? They didn't ask any questions. They just went to work.
Yeah.
Well, Reggie, that night, we got over there at 5 o'clock that afternoon. By 8 o'clock, Kim was calling me. Through my Facebook Live, we had raised $8,000.
Get out of here.
No lie.
Wow.
No lie. It was
amazing.
That was God moving.
And you know what? You hit it on the nose. People listening in to this interview with Miss April, y'all see how powerful things can be when you come together? I mean, everything counts. You can take one penny, and if a million pennies come together, that's $1 million.
Right.
I mean, a million people, that's a million pennies, but that's a lot of money, basically, is what I'm saying.
That is correct. I mean, people just stepped, and it was, I don't even know what to say. At that moment right there I know that God was using me for a greater good. It wasn't about me. It ain't about my platform. I just knew that I had to help him.
And that's what's up. And that's what I like doing interviews like this, because when people hear this story, they'll start thinking about it. Because, sometimes people don't do stuff, but if you do stuff, they eventually catch on.
That's right.
In other words, Miss April, if me and your yard is always nice and neat, and the other one in the middle of our house got trash everywhere, I'm not gonna say nothing smart to him, but eventually he'll start picking his trash up.
Right. It becomes contagious, you know.
That's why you got to stay around positive people.
Right.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Well, now check this out. I know that I just caught you off guard when I called you, and you got with me real quick, and I was like, wow, we get ready to have an interview. I'm about to be on the show with Miss April Ross. That's outstanding. Now, I want to ask you this. How can people get a hold of you if they want to, put an ad on your TV show, promote stuff or whatever? What do they need to do? Your social media platform, everything, so they can reach you.
They can reach me at April at BeeTVnetwork.com, and that's BeeTVnetwork.com. Or they get my social media platforms are April Ross BeeTV.
Do you got a foundation as well?
Right now I'm working on that because, my heart is, I just can't help it. I'm working on scholarship. Actually, I'm going to do it, do my first one, this coming, in August.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm going to do it to a young man. He don't even quite know. Well, he don't know yet, but his father knows.
Yes, ma'am.
And, he's going off to college.
Mm-hmm.
And, 2 weeks ago, Pat Neely, who was on Food Network, went down with the Neelys. Pat came out to help us promote it. Very nice man. He used to be on the Food Network. And what we're going to do is I'm going to give this young man a scholarship. I don't know what it's going to be up to yet.
Yes, ma'am.
Because we're still waiting. But this young man, it just laid on my heart to do it because he's a football player.
Uh-huh.
He has a scholarship. But you know how when you have these tours you have to go on, your parents take you on, whatever school you're looking at and all of this and that and stuff.
Right.
And his mom is always, by me covering the football games, his mom was always at the games. You can hear her hollering his name. She also worked the concession stand, but when her baby was out there, she'll come from the hot dogs and you can hear her at the top hollering his name.
Wow.
And she's just always there. And every school thing, she's there, And right before he chose what school he wanted to attend, his mom just unexpectedly died.
Oh, wow.
Unexpectedly. I mean, it kind of rocked the whole area.
Wow.
Because we knew what it meant for her to be there. She wasn't even there for him to graduate. And I know that feeling, Reggie. When I was 19 years old, my second semester of school, my mama put me in my first apartment.
Yes, ma'am.
And 2 months later, she was gone.
Wow.
She was gone. I know that feeling because, when you call home, and say, hey, I need something, Dad'd be like, need something, like what you need. But Mama gonna always slip you something.
You already know. Yes, ma'am.
Mama gonna put it all together.
Ain't nothing like your mama.
Ain't nothing like them. So, Daddy gonna make you kind of like, well, we'll see,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you,
Right.
But Mama, and for him, and I know that feeling for him going off to school and Mama is not there.
Wow.
And I want, as a community, that we come together and help the young man with whatever he needs going to school. I mean, his dad was like, for you to even think of my son, it
Wow.
means so much to him. And I know the feeling.
Yes, ma'am.
I've been there.
Yes, ma'am.
So I want to be able to have something for him when he goes off to school.
Okay, now check this out then. So
Yes.
people listening in, y'all try to, donate a little something if you can and help this guy with his scholarship because, he lost his mother. And he will appreciate all the help he can get.
Yes, definitely. Mm-hmm.
Now, Miss April, what I want to ask you is, do you got any shout-outs for anybody?
Oh, do I have any shout-outs?
Yes, ma'am.
Well,
Just give me a few.
Can I first shout out to the baddest, the MC Reggie Fresh Morning Show? Can I do that?
All right, then, Miss Rose. I ain't mad at you.
You bad. You're a bad brother now.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Can I say that?
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
my first shout out.
All right.
And I got a shout out to my husband. I mean, I tell you, he allowed me, and I say allowed, and I know some women might frown upon it, but I'm a woman that quit her job, and he had to hold it down while I followed these dreams, and it wasn't easy for us.
Yes, ma'am.
At all.
Yes,
it
ma'am.
wasn't easy. And sometimes he would be like, can you help with it? I ain't got no money. I ain't got no, keep it real, Reggie, all the time.
Yes, ma'am.
But he said, he told me when I quit my job that he had my back.
And that's what's
And
up.
he done had my back. So for him we had to struggle a little while. But as you can see, the struggle was worth it.
You better believe it. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
That's wonderful. That's
Yes.
wonderful.
Because one thing, when I married him, he's a Ross, and he told me, he said, you got to find what you want to do, but he didn't know it was going to be this, because I was working. I was a supervisor at a call center.
Yes, ma'am.
And he said, because, we're Rosses, and we don't fill out applications, we give them out. So
That's what I'm talking about.
that's what he said. Now, but then when I quit that job, it got kind of tough. You're like, wait a minute, what now? You might want to fill one out.
All right.
Yeah, but it was worth it.
Okay.
It was worth it. I mean, we're going from literally operating my whole business on a cell phone to a TV station that reaches 600,000 homes in 11 counties.
That's unbelievable, Miss Ross. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Wow. You got any more shout outs?
One more other thing I got to shout out to my dad. I got to say that.
Yes, ma'am.
My dad right now is bedridden. He's bedridden. He can't do anything, but I keep my dad on the weekends. I leave my home and go stay in LaGrange every weekend for the last 3 years.
Wow.
But my sisters keep him during the weekday. But I got to tell you this, Rich. What's so ironic is how God really works. Is that the man that started the station in LaGrange in '86.
Wow.
My daddy was this man's yard man. He cut his grass.
Get out of here.
For like 15 years. My daddy was his yard man. And for my daddy with a 6th grade education who had to say yes, sir, no, sir. And my daddy labored for this man that now this station is owned by the grass cutting man daughter.
Get out of here. That's unbelievable. You better believe it. Hey, that's a Cinderella story right there.
Yes, when I look at my dad and how he done worked hard, and you know, now the man that you worked hard for, we own his station.
Man, that's unbelievable. But you know, my daddy was a disc jockey, and he worked at a lot of radio stations. Well, you know, a few anyway. And that's where I get this from. It's natural, and I tell him that all the time. But daddy should be in Hollywood. He retired from GE though. I always kept a job. But you know, this was his calling. I can go home right now to my hometown in Lebanon, Kentucky, and I see people his age used to tell me, your daddy used to DJ for me. Now, we tune in for his radio shows, you know, at night and whatever. So it makes me feel good, you know, that I got the talent. And, you know, because a lot of people can't do this, what we do.
No, it's work, Reggie.
Yes, ma'am.
It's work. Yes, a lot of work.
I mean, you know, some people be like, well, how you get this person? And how you get, it takes work. But you gotta try, you know. You
gotta try, and you're right, because just like when I was running, you know, doing Honey Productions, and then I would post the pictures of going to the red carpet events when the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and people would be like, how were you able to go? And I'm like, you gotta knock the door in.
That's right. You gotta kick it. Yeah, if somebody crack you, you gotta knock it down.
You gotta say that. You're right.
You gotta knock it down. Cause matter of fact, y'all, as you can see, a prime example. MC Reggie Fresh got the owner of Honeybee Television. She's right here.
Yes.
You know, so hey, that's what you gotta do. Now, Miss Ross, like I said again, I'm very glad. I'm happy that you came to my show, and you know, I appreciate you. Now I gotta ask you just one more question.
Yes, sir.
I need you to tell everybody all over the world, Georgia, Alabama, what's the baddest station in the land and the station that pays.
Man, they better know it ain't nobody better than MC Reggie Fresh Morning Show.
And there y'all have it, folks. That's the owner of Honeybee Television. She goes by the name of Mrs. April Ross. She was right here on the MC Reggie Fresh Morning Show.
This is the MC Reggie Fresh Morning Show. A station that pays.